I'm calling it right now. Versus PulseChain. Versus PulseChain. We're going to be talking about this a lot in the next year. We are about to see, not financial advice. Please do not take this as financial advice. This is all speculation. 100%. I feel we are about to see the largest hockey stick you've ever seen in your life.
Ladies and gentlemen, happy Saturday. How's it going, everybody? I'm glad you're here. This is going to be good. It has been good. Has it not been a great 3 weeks? You know, this lighting makes my eyes look baggy. They're really not that bad, I hope. Let me see if I can turn a light on here. Maybe I'll improve it. Kind of just waiting for the space to start. I got to check my messages, make sure. Oh, I have my screen set up differently now. So I'm going to be a little bit hiccupy today, I imagine, just because my camera's on this monitor. So I just shifted everything, rotated it. Yes. Grandpa Pulse, God bless you too. Good morning, Goo. Does UFO can get to 20 billion though? Yeah, anything can happen. Is my audio okay? It usually is. I don't change anything. Hey, little frog. It's good to have you in here. Okay. Yeah, man. So PTGC is going to a penny by the end of the weekend, guys. I'm just saying. I need luck. Here's pTGC. I gotta keep an eye on the space. And everything's backwards. I'll get used to it. pTGC, is that not a beautiful thing? I think that's phenomenal. Look at that, baby. I mean, every day I come to my computer and I'm just like, yeah, good morning, SC. I'm just like beside myself with joy. UFO. It's like, what is going on? Yeah. We are on the cusp of a serious bull run. I know Hayden's up. There we go. Oh, look at pTGC. Good morning, Zen. Sure my volume's up. We're good there.
Good morning, Banana. How are you doing?
Probably as well as you're doing this morning.
Yeah, definitely a fun week. Personally, I think this week is going to be forgotten in the dust once these few months. I think we're going to have an interesting next few months. I'm pretty excited for it. I'm super excited to see what PulseChain has in store. I think some things with RH will be coming out here soon, and I've been very interested in this idea for a good 3 years now. You know, the PulseChain and PulseX sacrifice is like 3-4 years behind us, and I feel like a lot of people who are obviously RH maxis and students of him has been really interested in this next 6 months.
Right. So what do you think are some of the interesting things that we're on the cusp of? I mean, go into that if you don't mind.
I think he's one of the most intelligent people as far as like DeFi and how liquidity and tokens work. So I'm just excited to see what he has in store for this ecosystem, because the person that I've been studying for the last 4 years has something in store, and as just a student of his, I'm excited to see what that is. And I think we're getting to that point where we are going to see something. Obviously, this is just my own speculation. None of that's guaranteed. It could just be the guy that I've spent so much time learning from, I think has a little bit more in store for us. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I think so. I wasn't able to catch up with the chat. I had to step away from my computer for about an hour. It came back and there were like almost 100 new posts and I didn't get to read them, but it looked like there was some like good news going on in there. So I don't know if you caught up on that. I think PDI is going to be a penny by the close of this weekend. I mean, it's flying and it's dragging us up with it.
Yeah, I see Wrap Bitcoin was making a good move this morning too, which is nice to see. With UFO, I think we have like $350,000 of liquidity with it. So we're getting decent volume right there as well. It's funny because that's like one of our smallest pairs, but if you compare it to other protocols, that would be like their biggest pair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Wrap Bitcoin is pumping really well.
Yeah, I saw that because the PDI guys, they have their PMaker fork out now, and they have, I believe, the first proposal submitted or something along those lines where people are like giving AOKs to make it a proposal. I believe how it works is you kind of put out an idea and people kind of give it the thumbs up with their PMaker. And I guess there was movement on like RH's side as soon as that went up. So it looks to them like he is watching them and making movements in adjustment for kind of where we're at and the fact that they're now using MakerDAO on PulseChain to cast proposals to him. So they got, what it seemed like to me is they got exactly what they were looking for. As soon as they put up the proposal, they started seeing movement from the RH side of it, like looking like he was preparing for something.
Right on.
I haven't verified any of this. Like I don't check this stuff on chain. I kind of just follow those main guys who have been like in the trenches of PDI for the last year and a half. I just follow those guys. That's who I get my information from. So I'm just kind of trusting that source, which isn't always the best in crypto. You're not really supposed to trust others. You're supposed to kind of verify everything for yourself. But sometimes there's only so much of us to go around. You got to lean on your co-community members.
Right. I just dropped a message in the PDI chat asking for an update if they will, because I would like to hear it from them. So, yeah,
if you want, we could maybe go over some pTGC and UFO stuff, and if you want, we could circle back around it. The person who I was reading was Decentralized Me. He had a tweet kind of explaining it. We could go through that tweet here on the space if you want.
Yeah.
It's kind of a hot topic right now, and due to the fact that UFO has over $3 million of liquidity with PDI and pTGC, I think, has like $500,000. It's obviously relative to our ecosystem. I think that's fair.
Yeah. Landscraper dropped the link to that Decentralized ME Twitter post. But I can't click on it. Landscraper, can you drop that in the Telegram chat for me? Then I could bounce off of the Telegram to.
Do you drop it on YouTube? Or?
Yes. Yep. In the YouTube chat. Good morning, Shaka.
Yeah, I love seeing like the things we're connected to also moving up with us, because that's like turning the escalator up the direction we've been going for the last year. Once these things turn the direction we're going, it just makes it that much easier for us to get to our location. It's us working as a team for the goal of winning.
Yep.
Not even only just this cycle, but multiple cycles to come.
Yep. Yeah. Thanks, Landscraper, for dropping that in. So Decentralized Me says our team now has a comprehensive view of the PMaker functionality being tested, and it picked back up on the day we launched. Stability fees, 1 month gap, launch day. I don't think I want to read all that. It's really not even making sense to me. I think it just looks like progress.
Yeah, I think there's a couple comments as a thread that were pretty interesting.
Okay, he says, yeah, there we go. And this is Decentralize Me. And this is the guy you want to follow. Am I not following him? Okay, I'm following him now. Go to his YouTube and you can watch all about the PDI paganism. And he says, to be clear, hours after we put the proposal live, Richard started testing all key functionality required to peg PDI. He's telling us, Richard is telling us that he's about to peg PDI. That's what I'm reading into that. Okay, just to be clear, that's what I get. Richard, within hours making moves, is telling us this is what he's about to do. And I'm going to look for another comment by Decentralize ME. Yeah, it just it looks good. The bottom line is the things that we have been hypothesizing about and hearing talk about. It sounds like we're heading that direction still.
Yeah, no, it's super exciting. Like I said, our ecosystem has heavily played into that speculation. Our farm has PDI legitimately in it. So if PDI pegs and stabilizes at $1, that doesn't only give us tons of free access, tons of free volume, tons of free volatility, tons of free arbitrage, but also gives us a decentralized stablecoin built into our farm as well, which would be super exciting.
Yeah,
it would make pTGC and UFO an absolute monster, not only on PulseChain, but in comparison to pretty much tokens on any other blockchain. I wouldn't know anything that even comes close to what this thing would be functioning at.
I can't tell you.
The power of working as a team does.
I can't tell you how excited I am, man. I just, yeah. Sorry. This is my first time being at this point in this cycle with these bags and this education in this community, being in this community. It's just, yeah. I'm a little giddy. I think everybody here is giddy. We all have
the PulseChain community, in my opinion, is just a step above as far as like how they're educated and their understanding of how all these things work. And then we all teach each other, right? Like, it's like we just keep getting smarter and smarter because we all just keep learning on our own and then bringing the information back to each other all the time and making our whole entire community more well-versed in this crypto world.
Okay. Mir Cat said in the Telegram chat that UFO broke through 404. I was expecting that today also. Just to be clear, I was almost about to say something. Woo.
Yeah, we're moving. I think both pTGC and UFO are at all-time highs right now. It's just, nice to see.
Yes. And by the way, guys, if you want to jump and cast your vote to peg PDI, visit pulsemaker.win, and you need to have Maker in your wallet in order to cast a vote. I will be voting. This is historic. Just like I was voting a few weeks ago in the general elections, I'm going to vote in the crypto elections.
What's up, Mando? How you doing?
Oh man, I'm doing great. I'm doing absolutely great. It's such a nice thing to see PulseChain at 7271 today. It's been a long haul for a lot of people. So it's just, obviously pTGC and UFO are just astronomical, just life-changing. But I want everybody on the chain that's been here through the entire journey to win. And it's just so nice to see RH ticker starting to edge up and and getting the smile on everybody's face. That's what it's all about. But it's very interesting, and I'm looking for the proper term for this, where if you look, for example, how long it took for pTGC to get to its first $1 million market cap, and then how long it took to get to a $5 million market cap, right? We're talking months, right? Well, there's a there's a math thing that happens where, you know, just a week or so ago, we were at like an $80 million market cap, a $70 million market cap. And just yesterday, we were at a $100 million market cap. Now it's a $116 million market cap. So now what happens is you start to make leaps in market cap in a day that took you 5 months, 6 months to do in the past as you were building up the momentum in the math within the AMMs. And I'm trying to find the term for that because there's actually a reason why that happens. And maybe you know what that is, but I read all about it one time, and I was looking at $116 million market cap on Dex Tools. I just can't help but think we were just at 100 million. That's a $16 million increase in the market cap in like 24 to 48 hours. Think of how long it took us to get there initially, and now how fast we're headed to a $200 million market cap. It's absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I don't really know what the word would be. I would have to think about it, but this kind of relates to a lot of things. Like recently, I ran, if we or if PulseChain, whatever, or any token increased by 10% a day. Like right now, I think for the last week, like UFO and pTGC have been increasing by like 10%, 10%, 10%, 10%. So I'm like, well, 10% obviously isn't that difficult for us at this point. Like we've seen to do it. Well, how many of these 10% days would it take to do a 50x? You actually don't need that many. It's 42. So if you do 10% growth 42 days in a row, you did a 50x. And it's interesting because you don't make a lot of ground in the first like 10 days, right? Because you're doing 10% and you know what I mean? It's still small. But once you get bigger, that 10% starts to add up, right? Because you're covering a lot more ground because you get larger and larger and larger. And that's where we're at right now. So right now we hit 100K market cap a couple days ago, which I'm super excited to see that we just blew past that, because a lot of people think 100, or not 100K, 100 mil. A lot of people think 100 mil is a real psychological number that a lot of people sell at. Super awesome to see our community doesn't even care about 100 mil market cap. We have just such larger numbers in mind of what this ecosystem can do, and we just blew past it. But my point is, when you're at let's say $1 million market cap, well, you do a 10% rise, and you're at $1,100,000 market cap. But when you're at 100 million market cap, a 10% rise is so much more, right? It's 110 million market cap. So you just covered 10 million with a 10% rise because it's growing. Like we're only a 10x away from $1 billion market cap. I was saying earlier that the fact that we got to 100 million market cap before PulseChain is even at stack rate makes $1 billion market cap a walk in the park.
Yeah, there's no question about that. That's, you know, it's not up for debate anymore, right? It's just math. It's just math at this point. So, I mean, when you, it's not even a 10x away, and you have the underlying assets, not even any. I mean, the Richard Hart ecosystem is grossly undervalued. Grossly undervalued. So, you know, it's just a phenomenal opportunity right now. It's just amazing. But think of it, man. Do you remember when we were just trying to get to the first $1 million market cap, and then it breached, and then $5 million market cap, and then it just blessed. In the last 24 hours, it leaves 16 million in market cap. You remember the tipping point? Remember the tipping point conversations we had with the water lilies?
I know, it's almost worth, if you want to just say the water lily analogy for everyone listening, because we used to talk about that analogy 6 months ago, and we're kind of hitting those points.
Yeah. So in marketing, there's what's this? It's just anything really, but there's what's called a tipping point.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could envision a massive jet, it's trying to get off the ground, right? And it takes everything in its power to get off the ground. But once it gets into the air, it passes through a threshold of what's called a tipping point mechanically, to where everything that it did to get there no longer matters anymore. And now it's just going to sail, it's going to soar. Now, if you envision, now this is a point about duplication. When you hit a tipping point in anything, you had to do a lot of work, a ton of work to get it there. But then once you pass that tipping point, the momentum and the power of the thing takes over from there. So there's I used to actually run a massive company that, just give me 1 second. I used to run a massive company that we used to take care of vineyards. And when you do that, you have to take care of the irrigation lakes for these big vineyards. And what they do is they put biofilm in the water, and they put all these plants in the water. One of the plants is water lilies. And water lilies duplicate themselves out of tubers. So just envision a 100-foot by 100-foot rectangle. And you put a water lily at the end of one side, and it duplicates every day. So you have a water lily at the end of one side, day 1. Day 2, you have 2. Day 3, you have 4. Day 4, you have 8, right? So go all the way up until half of the rectangle is filled, right? And let's say it took you a year for half the pool, half that rectangular pond to be filled with water lilies. It took you a full year to do it. Well, how long will it take to fill the rest of the actual pool? The answer is 1 day. Because it took a year to duplicate out half the pool, but then half the pool duplicated out again the next day. That's the tipping point. And that's what's starting to happen with these protocols, where it took exponential amounts of energy to get off the tarmac, to get in the air, all the marketing, all the spaces, all the educating, all the people buying and selling, everybody getting washed out thinking whatever it is, for almost 13 months now, right? It took a lot of energy to get to the first $1 million market cap, $5 million market cap. And now we just added 16 million in market cap in 24 hours. That's the concept of the tipping point. And so now, how much economic energy, how much faster now does it take to go from 116 million in market cap to $1 billion in market cap? Well, it's less than a 10x away. Where when you started, you were thousands of x away. It's very powerful. That's the concept. Tipping point.
Very well said, Nando. Thank you.
Do you want to go over some more?
Yeah, Banana, do we have anything in your chat that we need to go over? If not, we can kind of go over a few of the tweets from the main account, if it's a good point to roll into that.
Give me a second. I don't think there are any questions. Nope, there are no questions in the chat. So let's go over the main account. I'll pull it up. think we added some LP this week, didn't we?
Yeah, 15,000. I think it was $15,700 with Pulse X.
Sweet, very sweet. Are there any posts in particular you want to review, Zen?
No, just I think whatever one jumps out at you, we can go over. If any of them do.
Well, the first one I see is you thanking Sami for the update and recognition for the Grays still turning heads. So I guess he shouted us out.
Yes. Yeah, we did get a shout out from Sami, I think, yesterday. I think Sami's super valuable to the PulseChain community. The guy puts out just so many videos.
He's a machine.
It's insane. He's like the ultimate news outlet for everything, in my opinion. He's super great. So I appreciate the recognition from him. I also find it super interesting that he loves like UFOs and aliens, and I think that's speaks to like the power of our theme and our meme and our narrative. I think a lot of people think about like UFOs and aliens, and a lot of people have sat on YouTube just watching, clips and so on and so forth. So I think over time he's not guaranteed to obviously become heavily, or not heavily into, but I think he's going to talk about UFO and pTGC a lot more because he's obviously passionate about PulseChain. We're passionate about PulseChain. And then he's also passionate about UFOs and aliens. And we're obviously passionate about UFOs and aliens just due to our theme. So I think it kind of, the glove fits, right? Or the shoe fits, whatever you want to say. It kind of makes sense that he should start doing a little bit more talking about pTGC and UFO, which I would be super thankful for just because he is such a big outlet for information. So it's good for pTGC to get recognized on there.
Yep. Your AMA went well yesterday with Wrecked to Riches, in my opinion. I haven't listened to the whole thing, but it looked like it was going well.
Yeah, it did go well. It was a decent AMA. I think we did a pTGC one. He invited me to do a pTGC one, I think 6 months ago, right when UFO launched. So it was nice that he hit me up asking if I wanted to do a UFO one. And then also we kind of did a little recap on pTGC too, since it's been a little while.
Yeah. Well, Pip says if pTGC goes to $1, he's going to get an alien tattoo. And Grandpa Pulse comments, it would be nice to see Sami do a live stream. Does he do any live streams or interviews? I don't think so.
I think he's done one live stream in his many years of streaming with Corey Costa. Which, speaking of that, I have a AMA with Corey Costa tomorrow at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time if anyone wants to listen into it. He's really quick normally, like he usually knocks them out in 30 minutes, which I think is good because a lot of people just want to get the facts in quick and then and not spend 2 hours on a video. So I kind of like that about his streams.
Yep. Yeah, me too. Yeah, so if you're available at that time tomorrow, guys, support the ecosystem by showing up, and if all you can do is get to the video and like it or forward it on Twitter, that helps too.
Yeah, drop a comment in there just to show him that we're paying attention. It was worth his time. He's been another huge compliment to the PulseChain ecosystem, right? Like he does a lot of videos. He gives exposure to projects. This would be the third time that I've been going on his channel, and he led us on to his channel when we're like $1 million market cap protocol. So it's exciting, to come back on and give updates. And he's been a supporter of us this whole time, which is cool.
Yeah.
And he also has he's gotten a lot of different people to go on his channel. So he's got a lot of different followers as well than like a lot of the standard PulseChain influencers. Like I think he's done interviews with even John McAfee, possibly. I know he does Ben.
Bitcoin Ben. I mean, not. BitBoy.
BitBoy. He does BitBoy and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I appreciate him giving us the opportunity. Before we move on off the subject, the guy that was talking about the pTGC tattoo, did you tell him about how you said that you're going to get the pTGC tattoo on your face if it got to $1?
No, I didn't tell him that.
Yeah, anyone listening, Banana said if we get to $1, he's thinking about getting a pTGC tattoo on his face.
Yeah, that ain't happening. His wife will kill him. That's like McAfee saying he'll eat his own meat, bro. It ain't ever happening.
But we can just AI it, Zen. How's that?
We'll let you get a henna at the fair.
Hey, imagine seeing Prairie with a sleeve of UFO and pTGC on his arm, dude. Just walk around all sleeved up. Most conservative guy in crypto, just sleeving himself up.
Like I said, I'd never put a bumper sticker on a Lamborghini. It's just not fitting, you know what I mean?
It is when it bought you the Lamborghini.
Good one.
Hey, that's some good marketing, man. You know, hey, big old alien right on the front of your Lambo. That's funny.
You posted this on November 21st. It has begun. Congratulations to everyone who believed in RH. The Grays put it all on the line 100% and never for one moment doubted the opportunity RH put before us. That is true. Sometimes I read these posts and it kind of goes in one ear and out the other. But now I'm understanding it because this little ecosystem, pTGC and UFO, was built around RH. His ecosystem, his tickers, you know, believing in what he has built and is building. Very true.
UFO just ticked over 40 million on Dex Tools.
It's beautiful.
Just throwing it out there. Yeah. And pTGC just hit 117 mil, but retraced. It's crazy.
Somebody let us know when PDI goes to a penny.
Well, you know what's crazy is I remember when Pulse first deployed, and we were just ratio trading the crap out of it, you know, and the chain was just like so much volume was on the chain, and then people started speculating on what they're speculating on. And buying PDI at like 0.000000 stuff back then, you know, the people who just to kind of piggyback off what you were saying, Prairie, you know, the people who knew what the speculation of PulseChain actually was, you know, with the system state fork narrative, the faster, cheaper, greener, you know, fee burning fork of Ethereum, the thought of when Richard said, hey, I know these tickers over on PulseChain won't have a 1-to-1 ratio, but I bet you they won't be zero. And that epic conversation he had with the XRP dev, he was talking about stables and he was talking about the valuations of the copies. And look at Wrapped Bitcoin. Look at PDI. Look at the stables. Look at these copies, man. If you just speculated a little.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
So what happens though when PDI hits a penny? It's only 100x now to $1. Now what is the? I'm just having fun here, but what are the odds that it goes the thousands of x from 0 at launch and then doesn't go the rest 100x? Especially talking about the tipping point narrative. You know, the bigger you get, the easier it is to get to where you're trying to go, right? So it's getting very interesting.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Great point.
Well, we've talked about it plenty of times. It's super easy to 100x. 10x on PulseChain and 10x on PDI. at this point feels like a walk in the park. So getting there, I don't really see it being the issue. You know, the question is there a plan to stabilize it?
Isn't that what the vote is about? To collateralize that pool?
Exactly. Yeah. I think they're planning on pushing it up a lot faster. Who knows if that's RH's plan to push it up overnight, because they said that they're only like a 2x from it being completely using the OA, PulseChain, and PulseX and ink and stuff like that. Or not ink, hex. Sorry. PulseChain, PulseX, and hex. They're only a 2x away from having all the funds, or RH having all the funds, being able to collateralize it. Which obviously would then send PDI to a dollar, you know, overnight, technically. Which personally, I don't think is the plan. I would think that we would just naturally get it up to there. I think just with the idea of just a fact that he will collateralize it would obviously just push it there on its own and bring hype to PulseChain, and people would come over the bridge, which then increases the price of PulseChain, and, you know, the X multiplier kicks in and we naturally get there. And then once we get there, just collateralize it once it's there. And then it would only take like a 1/100th of the OA funds. So then he still has all his other funds. He only had to use a portion of it to collateralize all that PDI instead of the majority of it. But like I said, this is, what do I know? These guys have spent way more time researching this stuff than me. But either way, it's like a win.
Yeah, and then what happens is that psychologically, PDI goes to $1. Let's say, for example, PDI goes to $1, and then it has a 30% retracement down to 70 cents, whatever it is, right? Well, now everybody knows it could go back to $1.
Right, exactly.
Like it's already done the miraculous, right?
Well, that's kind of the thing is if
so
it
that's
comes
perceived
out that
and now as just that's just perceived part is just an opportunity to get in again. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's kind of like when USDC unpegged when the bank shut down for a little bit, like a year ago or two. I'm losing track of time. Where there was like a 10% discount on USDC and it just got bought up pretty much in a day because everyone was getting a 10% discount on their USDC. And I think the pump to PDI being $1, if there is any real, and I say real because the PDI people have found tons of like pretty real information on this stuff. But if there was even more real information, I think that information alone would really push PDI close to $1, just due to the size of the liquidity pools and how all that stuff works. You know, it doesn't need that much money pushed into it to get it there.
It seems like on this journey, you know, the whole PDI to $1 journey, that at very specific times, there's been more information popped out. You know, it's been like a drip system of information. You know, it'll get quiet, and then all of a sudden, boom, some more details will pop up, some more evidence, some more. You know, it's just been like this constant drip system of what's happening behind the scenes, almost like it's just being released very strategically. I don't know. It's crazy.
Zen, let me know if you want to review the new site that Kong built. You know,
Let's do it.
His update. Okay.
9,058 holders now on Grace. Crested over 9,000 overnight.
Damn.
Okay.
Yeah, we're getting close to the 10,000 mark.
We added 61 new wallets yesterday. Yeah. It's beautiful. Okay, let's review the new site. I think he's not even opposed to us reviewing the premium. Does that sound right?
I wouldn't say that's right. I would verify that with him.
Okay.
I don't want to tell you yes and that not be true, to be honest, because I don't think I heard that. So,
Well,
Yeah.
it's just going to make him FOMO into his product, man. It's good advertising.
Yeah,
You get to see what you don't got.
I'm going to send him a message real quick. Hold on.
he might be sleeping. I think he was working on more updates to it last night. That's kind of the cool thing about it is like where it's at right now. He's like already talking to me about stuff he wants to add, and so it's probably going to just keep getting more and more stats on there as far as the premium side goes.
Did he add, Zen? Did he add my request for the liquidity side, or did that not get in there yet?
It's kind of in there. We're still kind of working on some of the functions of it. There is a whole liquidity page on the premium side, but it didn't get all of the functions that we were looking for.
Yeah, I would like to put my own wallet address and see how my LP is doing. You know? So
that's kind of the thing is he got the product out there, but there is things that are getting added as well as we kind of work through them, or he works through them. I kind of just been spitting ideas at him that I think people want to see to give the product more value, and then obviously give pTGC and UFO more value, because if we can really dig into these analytics, I think it gives the protocol itself more value while giving his singular product more value at the same time.
Yeah. And just so you know, guys, I have reviewed the site and I'm very impressed. Not only is it attractive overall, but the analytics are wonderful. I mean, we have analytics like these that we have now in other ecosystems, and I was dying to have stuff for pTGC and UFO. Like, for example, the locks. How many people are, well, we know by percentage how many are locked, but I want to see that on a bar graph. And when are people unlocking and that sort of thing? Why? Well, if there's a guy unlocking 1 billion tokens on February 1st, well, he might unlock and sell. So, and if I was thinking of taking some profit, I wouldn't want to do it on that day. Well, that's valuable information. And now we have it. We literally have a bar chart. It's amazing. I shouted when I saw it. I was so excited.
Yeah, it's the ecosystem is starting to have data analytics similar to what we had with Hex. That everybody loved really, like look into Hex and certain things, which very few currencies have that sort of a thing.
Yeah. And just, I'm glad you mentioned that, Mando.
I was going to say that. Go ahead.
It's, in order to get to it, go to lookintoptgc.com. Lookintoptgc.com.
There you go.
Isn't that good? And who was the guy that did the original Look Into Hex? What was his name?
I think that was Gerardo.
Gerardo. Yeah.
I may be mistaken, but I think it is.
Yes, that's him. And there have been a few plays on that one. Okay, so let's just go to the generic site. Let's go to the dashboard. Okay, pTGC has burned $13 million worth of pTGC. In the last 24 hours, we've burned $5,000 worth of pTGC. How many people would like to have $5,000 worth of pTGC added to their bag? Well, we burned that yesterday. The price is up 14% over the last 24 hours. $219,000 in volume. $12 million in liquidity. Let's see what else is of value here. Okay, here the wallet allocation, the pTGC volume allocation for the last 24 hours. We burned $1,100 worth. That seems to conflict. Let me scroll back up.
That's just the automatic buy and burn within the contract. So
okay.
What's calculating above on the 24-hour banana is it's calculating the amplifiers of PTGC. It's accounting UFO. It's accounting community projects built on PTGC. So that's like the conjoined of everything, to where that one you just read, the 1,100, that's the specific 0.5% in the PTGC contract.
Yes. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep,
Okay.
it does. Thanks for clarifying that. $1,100 was added to liquidity. $4,400 allocated to the Dow. That's the 2% of every transaction. $2,200, and I'm using round numbers, rounding up, rounding down. $2,200 to holders in form of reflections. $2,200 to stakers. So holders and stakers made $4,400 yesterday. That is what was allocated to all the holders and stakers. Then for UFO, we have burned 2.8 million UFO have been burned. 75 million in the last 24 hours. Now this is going to be interesting, because we saw that there are other protocols burning PTGC, but how much UFO did UFO burn? Let's see. I don't know that I can break that down. Buy and burn. 2,100.
You can see the dollar value if you just go all the way to the bottom.
$2,100 worth. And up here in the 24-hour section, it says it burned $3 million. $3,000 worth. And then down here it says $2,100 worth. Why would there be a difference there, Zen?
I don't think there's any other projects burning UFO that I could think of, but they could just be taking that. Like, I think the above one is literally has like a point where it's looking at PulseChain and just mathematically counting the amount of tokens that are burned. So, and then it's obviously doing the math on what that amount is.
Yeah.
But the one below is just taking the 24-hour volume and then taking 1% of that and then just shooting you out what that rough number is.
Exactly.
The one above, you have to consider that it's also taking into consideration that we're up 10% right now. There's also could be other projects adding to that. It could have a different exact data point it's pulling from, or depending on how PulseChain is fixing itself. There's a lot of moving parts for sure. So you kind of just, the one down below, all that's doing is it's taking the 24-hour volume and then just telling you what that dollar amount is. But then the one above is like literally pulling the quantity of tokens from PulseChain or wherever it's pulling that point from, and then figuring out based on the dollar price today or at that exact moment of what that's worth.
Yep. Perfect. 24-hour volume, 211,000. And there was $6,300 to the LP providers and rewards. Remember, 3% goes to the LP providers. $2,100 to buy and burn. $2,100 to UFO holders as rewards. And $2,100 to buy and burn PTGC. Shall we do a moon math? Let's do it. UFO to PDI. What kind of X factor would you like to do? We can do 5.
And then let's put PDI at $1.
Okay.
Just since I feel like that's a fitting.
Yeah. You want to do
fitting for today, since there's a lot of information of PDI.
Yeah, I agree. Do you want to do PDI at 50 cents? Kind of midway?
He said $1, Prairie. He said $1.
Do we really think that?
Just split it, you like 75
I think
cents.
PDI is all or nothing, to be honest.
P-die to $1.
At least do 80 and 90 cents, bro. Like, come on.
It's all right. We can.
Hey, it's 100x away from a freaking dollar. Let's speculate, man. We're just speculating. It's not like it's all set. So put it at $1.
Okay. If pTGC goes to $1 with an X factor of 5, and this is on the UFO pTGC pair, UFO would be 2 pennies, which is a 556x from where it is right now. That's beautiful. Let's do 50 cents and see where it would be. It would be just
How about you just do an X factor of 2 then?
okay. How about 2? I wonder if we can do 2.5. Let's see. X factor of 2.5. pTGC to $1 gives us a 1 penny UFO, 278x. Oh yeah, baby. We'd be talking. Let's do pTGC. I'm going to open up a new tab. And this is what I should have done on Monday, is had 2 tabs going and just have pTGC in one, UFO in the other. And I want to do pTGC and pTGC. I really want I want Kong to make that a quick link. But let me go get the pair address. Okay. And we'll pop it in here. I'm learning how to use this. I'm not 100% proficient, but we'll get it. So we have the token name pTGC, pair address, which is I got to make sure I got the correct address. Sorry, guys. Yeah, I got the wrong one. I need the pTGC pTGC pair. Just hold on a second. There's the pair. And what do you want to do for an X factor? 2.5. Let's do 2.5. pTGC to $1. That puts pTGC at 0.09, almost a penny. About where pTGC is right now, but it would be a 267x. I think the bottom line of all that talk about pTGC going to $1 is we're really not too late on these tokens, pTGC and UFO. I mean, people have reservations about buying green candles. I would buy a green candle right now because having been in this ecosystem for about, I think, 9 months and hearing all this speculation, it's like I've been telling my wife what we have been talking about in the Telegram chat, on Twitter, in the spaces, it has been speculation. Okay, I'll just be honest. But I am seeing it become reality. And if history repeats, then the speculation that we've gone even further, like with pTGC going to $1, that could also very well become reality.
Yeah, but you know what it is too, Prairie. If for people that's been around this protocol for
See,
a
the
while,
thing with like
and
the
understand.
pTGC speculation is there's a lot of facts that people have found behind that.
Hey,
That's why we're speculating.
Zen, Goo was talking. I think maybe Goo, could you drop out and come back in real quick, brother?
Yeah, sure. No problem.
I'd like to hear what you're saying, so that'd be cool.
I just want to say congratulations on the 100 million market cap, boys. I faded pTGC when it came out and when it wicked up and when it crashed. But I just want to say congratulations because it is on our chain an accomplishment to get to that high of a market cap match. So get on y'all, boys.
Thank you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. Goo.
Yo, can you hear me now, Zen?
You're good.
Okay, good. All right, no, what I was saying was, to just add in what Prairie was saying about the green candles, right? With pTGC and with UFO, right? Without even having to get into detail, if you've been around these protocols long enough to learn how they work, take all your technical analysis and throw it right out the window, because that's not how this project works. And then the things that we are built on and we are paired to, they're starting to run. So now that multiplier effect that TG Zen always talks about, that's starting to take into effect. So just take all that TA and everything else and just throw it right out the window, bro.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Anybody that I know that was a TA guy that didn't put the time in to understand how the actual mechanics, the underlying mechanics work, they thought they were going to swing this thing. They thought they were going to out maneuver this thing. They all sold their bags way too soon and then just got left. The train left the station on them. And they're buying back in way higher now. My brother-in-law is one of them.
And then another thing too that I just wanted to add in is really the main reason why I jumped up today. There's a lot of people asking me primarily about pTGC. They're not asking about PDI. They're not asking about Teddy Bear. They're not asking about anything else. They're asking me, what is this pTGC thing on PulseChain, right? So I'm doing my best to onboard, but I've said this many times and I'll say it again. Everybody here, it doesn't matter if you have 1 follower or 1 million followers. If you're in PulseChain, right, make a how-to tweet. How did you get on PulseChain? How did you bridge? How did you get on the chain? Make a how-to tweet and pin it to your profile. Because right now, the biggest thing that we're having a problem with is the bridging and just showing people how to get on. They know about the projects. And surprisingly, they know how they work as well. They're just having that curve right there of actually getting on the chain. So that's what I think we have to really start focusing on as a PulseChain community, is bringing people over to the chain and just teaching them how to get on the chain.
That's a good idea, Goo. Yeah, once they get on the chain, then they'll speculate on all the tokens over here.
Yeah, bro. And like I said, they're not asking me about PDI. They're not asking me about Wrap Bitcoin. They're not asking about none of that stuff. They're asking about pTGC, bro. It's a beautiful thing.
Right on.
Is this strictly about pTGC and UFO, or is it you guys going to speak about some projects that are built on top of that?
This space is always about pTGC and UFO, my brother.
No, I'm saying, but there's projects built on top of y'all's project that are because of you guys moving that they're moving. And it's pretty cool. It's a little hard to swallow for it.
Yeah, it's a pTGC and UFO space. We don't talk about supplementals.
Huh?
Well, shall we review some of the data I've been keeping on my spreadsheets? All right, we're just going to do it. We'll start with pTGC. And I will narrate for the Twitter audience, but I'm showing it on my screen. You guys know I track some, like 1 million pTGC, 1 million UFO in a wallet, and I get data from that. And I'm also tracking other data daily. And we gained, like we talked about earlier, 61 holders yesterday. The Pulse to pTGC ratio actually pulled back just a fuzz, but we are moving against PulseChain clearly on the average. The market cap is, like we said, it's over 100 and something million. and I just need to update my formula there. And we burned 3.5 squid positions yesterday. The day before yesterday, we burned 8.3 squid positions. And that's about it for pTGC UFO. We added 103 holders yesterday. The average for October was 9 per day. Let's see what we have for November so far. We are averaging 27, a triple. 27 new holders per day is what we're averaging so far in November. And now the ratio is what gets me excited. UFO is blowing everybody's minds. Listen, on November 1st, it was 0.2086 pulse per UFO. Today, well, yesterday, when I recorded this, 0.5485 pulse per UFO. If we continue at this rate, we will be 1-to-1 with pulse in 22 days before the end of this year.
Yo, I would like to make a bold statement, right? I love UFO. I'm like infatuated with UFO. I'm going to say this, right? Since UFO launched, there is nothing in crypto that is performing better. Of course, pTGC, right? But besides that, there's nothing out there better than UFO. And guess what? When everything is said and done and the fat lady sings, UFO is going to have the best chart in the history of crypto.
Wow, Q. Thanks. I love that. I did a little experiment yesterday.
Then everybody should just sell all their other shit coins everywhere else and start bridging over and buy UFO, right, you guys?
Absolutely. And guess what? They're already doing it, bro. I already got DGens on PulseChain doing it, bro.
Nice.
I did a little experiment yesterday. I had a couple people review it, and I got a little bit of it might have been a nothing burger, but for me, it was something. It was interesting. So we have these two charts, pTGC and UFO. I put them on the daily, and then I went back to May 6th because I wanted to get a side-by-side comparison, pTGC and UFO, from May 6th to the current day, which was yesterday. I took a screenshot and I put the screenshots into ChatGPT, and I said, Chat, I want you to tell me I want you to look at the wicks above the candles and the wicks below the candles. And I want you to tell me the percent differences between pTGC and UFO of the wicks above and the wicks below. And here's what I got. Let me see if I can find the summary. pTGC, up wicks. Moderate up wicks in the early months. Up wicks account for about, here, I'll just boil it down. Up wicks account for about 20 to 25% of total candle height. UFO, up wicks account for about 10 to 15% of total candle height. What does that mean? It means that whenever there is an up wick, and then somebody sells, right, which brings that wick back down, and the day will close with a solid candle, not a wick. So when you have a higher percentage on pTGC versus UFO, what that means to me is that the market wants UFO more because it wouldn't wick it up as high before it got pulled down. And the same for the down wicks. Down wicks account for about 10 to 15% of total candle height for pTGC, but down wicks account for about 5 to 10% of total candle height for UFO. Interesting experiment. I don't know that it actually, like on a technical level, means anything, but I think perhaps maybe on a human level, it means something. But what do you guys think about What do you guys think about it? Give me some feedback on that experiment.
I'll say I don't necessarily agree with your premise that it means what you said it means.
Okay.
That the market is demanding one over the other, because you have to add in their sell pressure. The comment one is in demand more than the other says that someone's buying more than the other, but there's a lot more energy built into pTGC because it's an older protocol. There's more gains. There's other aspects behind the scenes that you have to really think about with that, in my opinion.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. Well, we burned almost 7% of the UFO tokens. We're at 6.95%. We burned a squid position yesterday. But the day before,
it's one of everything it's connected to. So even if we're highly bought and have huge green candles, if everything we're connected to is highly undervalued, we're technically in turn highly undervalued as well due to the connected assets that we have created. The same thing goes for candle wicks. Like, for an example, when pTGC hit an all-time high like 8 months ago or something like that, that all-time high, that huge wick actually came from PDI because of our connectiveness with PDI. So PDI ran up heavily, sending us up heavily, but then PDI sold down rapidly right after it. So it actually didn't come from any sells or buys on the pTGC chart. We are one with PDI. So when PDI did that volatile move, we actually got that on our chart as well. So I personally just think that UFO hasn't seen as much volatility since its launch, just because there hasn't been that much volatility on chain. pTGC has kind of seen a lot more since it's been out. So it tends to probably have those bigger wicks. And I know you said you didn't measure all the way back from then, but you also have to take into consideration that for UFO's size, it has a lot more liquidity as well, which kind of stabilizes the price a little bit more too.
okay. Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah, it's so interesting. And this is why people are screwing themselves when they're doing a market analysis on these tokens, because unless you really make a phone call and talk to somebody who understands it, you're trying to do an MA on tokens using standardized metrics. But it's like Gugat just said, you have to literally throw out everything. You have to throw the baby out with the bathwater on these things, on these two tokens, and literally relearn what's happening. That's why even B Roots, like after like the 4th month, you guys remember in the subscribers, he's like, guys, I threw out TA like months ago on this thing. It doesn't work. And he's one of the best guys in the business at TA. It just doesn't work. It's because what he said, Zen said, the reflexivity, the nature and the relationship of these tokens to the things it's paired with, it just throws all that off. You just can't do it like that.
Grandpa Pulse says in reference to my comment about one-to-one.
At the end of the day, the market doesn't care if our one singular micro cap token is overbought and oversold. If the market thinks the market is undervalued or oversold, it's going to drag the whole market up. And then what are we? We're connected to the whole entire market. So if we've outperformed the market and then the market starts to perform with us, we just double dip. Thinks the market is undervalued or
I had to drop out, guys.
before. So you use standard TA techniques with standard tokens and think you can relay it to this protocol. ends up getting you wrecked for the most part. That's,
Well, yeah. I mean, look at God bless her. Katie's call when she said, "Hey, 40,000," and I was like, "Hey, take a look at why would I buy the local top?" And a lot of these guys that are pretty damn good at TA, they're doing genuine TA and saying, "Hey, this isn't where the value is," but they just have no clue because they don't understand what's going on behind the scenes. So it's not really their fault in a sense, because there's nothing else out there that's ever been created like it, like you're saying, Zen. The issue is they just don't know it's completely changed the game in a lot of ways.
Yeah, they're missing the part that we have like a DeFi 3.0 over here on PulseChain, and they just haven't noticed. Well, they've noticed it, but they haven't like really understood it yet. And like, I actually like understand what they're saying, because they're kind of protecting their community, because with 99% of tokens, what they're saying makes sense, right? Like, why would 100%. I buy the top of this? Why would I guide my followers to buying a top? I want to guide my followers to buying the bottom. And that's where I think as a community, we need to step up and not just chill in their comments, but educate them on why it's still a good opportunity. Because this is DeFi 3.0. I am very thankful that we've educated so many people on this system so early, but there's still so much education that has to go, especially to people like KDP and these bigger names that are obviously busy. They're not like completely in the trenches, like really learning these new things coming out. It does take a little bit of time to educate them, but once it clicks for them, I think it's going to open up their mind, because what we have here on PulseChain is so unique. There isn't anything like it, and they will be happy to. Maybe they don't have it, they don't have to have it, but you can give it a nod, right? Like, there is unique things on PulseChain that no other blockchain has, and that does bring value to PulseChain.
Oh, absolutely. Maybe right now is a good time for just a 60-second soundbite on the response to that. Like throwing that kind of stuff in people's faces, like the receipts, ha ha ha, Instead,
I'm not really
corral those people,
Yeah, I'm not really into putting people down in public. Like, obviously they made a mistake, and I don't think they meant any negative towards us in that mistake on making that call. They were actually trying to help their followers. So they mean well. So I don't think it's, good to put them on a stage and throw tomatoes at them. I think we should be doing the opposite as a community. So instead of burning the bridge down, we should be building the bridge back up. And, letting them know, like, hey, we're still here. We still are here for PulseChain. We're still here to support you as a community member of PulseChain. We understand that when you said this, you didn't understand this DeFi 3.0 that we've brought here to PulseChain. But the honest truth is it's still so early. If you think it's the top, you actually think it's the top for PulseChain, Hex, PDOT, PulseX. They don't think it's the top for all those tokens.
Ethereum, Bitcoin.
Ethereum. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. And that's what they don't fully understand. And it's not their fault. 99.9% of people do not understand actually what they're involved in crypto. There's really only a select few people that actually understand what they're doing here. And even these people that we're talking about really understand what they're doing here. Like, they're one of the smartest people in this space. And that's like, I guess my thing of like how advanced this protocol is even the most legit people in the space have a hard time understanding it to its full extent. You get little pieces of it, like, oh, I understand buy and burn. Oh, I understand the reflections. But like, those are just like little slices of what this pie actually is. There is so much more than that. And that's what I mean, is like, I don't like the public shaming. I think publicly we should be just trying to educate and bridge and build the bridge back up. We don't want to demolish the bridge more, because if we keep shaming, they're never going to come. They're never going to be part of this community. We want to build that bridge up and show them, like, hey, we're all in a team together. We all are on the PulseChain team. That's it. That's all that matters.
I think Shaka has said it best the other day. I was reading some of his comments the other day in the Crypto Kindness stream, and he had said to somebody, karma is a real thing. Let's not do that. Let's be nice. Let's show facts. Let's kill them with kindness. You know what I mean? Let's not be dicks.
100%. What we've built this community on top of has been like kindness and showing respect to our peers and just believing in what we have in our hands and not having to resort to like fudding other people or talking down on other people or talking down on other projects. Like, all we need to worry about is what's on our side of the fence and guiding people to what we believe is an amazing ecosystem and protocol. Or that's like my approach to it. No one has to follow that, but
Yeah, I appreciate that. Your experiment wallet, Zen, your experimental wallet is up 64% since last Saturday.
yeah, what's that now?
$185,000. Last Saturday was 119.
Yeah, it's close to a 5x away from the goal. It's probably a 6x away from the goal.
Zan, that's so awesome, dude. 30,000 to $1 million. It's a 5x away already.
Yo, bro, I'm not gonna lie. When you made that wallet and started that whole thing, I said, bro, he's bugging. That's moon boy math. And now look, 5x away, bro. Let's go.
And now, Goo, it's like, it's not even moon boy math. It was easy.
Yeah, that's I think what I've been trying to tell a lot of people for a while now is like mathematically how this system is designed is like that journey was supposed to be a walk in the park and it's shown to be. Like, obviously we're not there yet, but if with any success of PulseChain that flicks up to that level overnight, yeah, we'll see how high it can go, right? Like, I guess that 1 mil might just be a milestone.
Oh yeah, it's gonna go higher than a mil. It's 5
Zan,
points.
sorry, Prairie. My brother-in-law yesterday called me up. He's through like another 5 G's in there, whatever. And he's like, Mando, when is this damn thing gonna give me a pullback, man? Because he's a TA guy. He's an options trader. When is this thing gonna give me a pullback? He's just every day. He's like, doesn't anybody ever sell this damn thing? Yeah, I'm like, hey man, I'm surprised too. Like,
the thing is people do sell it. I think pTGC has probably paid out the most value to the PulseChain community of any altcoin on all of PulseChain.
I would have to agree with you on that.
Yep.
So that's the thing is it's actually paid out
outside of Hex, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not talking about like RH tickers. I mean like sub-alt tokens on this blockchain. I think this ecosystem has actually paid out the most people out of any project on this blockchain. In a normal circumstance, that should equal our chart being really far down, right? But the difference is a normal project has to pay out the holders of the project out of the money coming in from holders. But what's unique to our system is it's a value-generating protocol. So we're actually generating value from the outside crypto space and bringing it into our protocol without even a new buyer coming in. So we can actually pay out value to people to take profits, and our chart continuously can go up and to the right. It's so unique. No one has even mentally comprehended what is going on here. We've already paid out tons and tons of value. We have changed people's lives already. But our chart is still up and to the right because we actually generate real value. This is the solution that 99.9% of cryptos have not solved. They always need a new buyer to come in and hold to push the price up, and it's just a transfer of wealth. It's robbing Peter to pay Paul. The thing is, we actually created a system that generates value and brings outside value in instead of just utilizing value that a user brought in as their purchase, their buy of the tokens. We don't need buys of the tokens to pay out value and for our price to go up. It's coming from an outside source. This is the only thing that's actually shown sustainable in the outside world of crypto. It's just crypto haven't fully tapped into it yet. And that's why I think we're kind of leading this new standard. You know what I mean? Like when you look at it, it's just like, how is anyone going to even keep up if they don't kind of match this build out strategy?
I use
Very
Iran.
powerful, man.
It is. I think people are going to be building leveraging the bots a lot more going forward. Tails Dreams asks on YouTube, can you talk about the potential for pTGC to become an equivalent of a stablecoin to a certain extent because of how much liquidity there is?
Yeah, if you think pTGC will become a stablecoin, you also think every RH ticker will become a stablecoin, because we move with every single RH ticker, we move with everything on PulseChain, and then we capitalize via buy and burns via every single piece of those movements, pushing our price upwards and to the right. We will be heavier, right? Like that's not what I'm getting at. It will take a lot more value to move our system, but I think it's important to have all that value there because there will be a lot of big players in this ecosystem. And by having that large liquidity, it's going to actually be very, very attractive, not only to big people on PulseChain, but I think big players in all of crypto, which will help in the onboarding process to PulseChain in general, having these protocols that are built on here that are legitimate, sustainable projects with large liquidity.
We got a lot of people on board today. Yeah, that was a good answer. We got a lot of people in the spaces today, probably 30 to 40 and 210 on YouTube. Subscribe to my channel, guys. Like this video and subscribe if you would, please. Does anybody want to come up and speak?
Banana, do I remember that you're working on getting over 1,000?
I was hoping to, yes.
Are you there yet, or?
Yes. I think it happened on Tuesday.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could have sworn it was like last week you were saying you were only a few away, so that's why I was asking.
Yeah, I think it was like 12 away. And then I looked at it today and I'm 12 over.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was about to say, if we're not there yet, anyone listening, please subscribe to Banana and get them over that 1,000 mark. That's a huge milestone. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you. I haven't really been working at it. You know, I've been working on other stuff, but I was like, if we could just get to 1,000. And then Stylus and I did a security video. We did an interview with Papa Boner last night. It was great. And everybody, if you're doing crypto on a cell phone, if you have digitized your seed phrase, you need to go watch that video. It's on my channel, or watch any video with Papa Boner in it. And get and build up your security, because you want to do it before you have a ton of value on your wallet that you need to protect. Do it now. What else, guys? We couldn't, I mean, everybody wanted to talk on Monday. We were pumping back then too, but everybody's just being quiet, it seems. Guga dropped something in the, what do you call this box up here, Mando?
They call
What is it?
Bitron or something. We also have Scott V who's raising his hand, so maybe go over what Guga dropped, and then after that, Scott V, you're more than welcome to come up and speak.
Hey, why don't we do Scott B first, man? Since we gotta let's do him first. What's up, Scott?
What's going on? Can y'all hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I just overheard the kind of brief description in terms of how how you're saying you bring outside value into that the price is not necessarily based on, the buying and selling of the holders. Could you talk a little bit more about how you're bringing in value from outside so that the I guess the price chart it isn't dependent on sellers?
Glad you asked, Zen. Take it away.
Yeah, so the main utility to our system is a utility that isn't user-based. So a lot of protocols that create utilities, right? They actually need a user to use that utility, so you still run into the same problem. I need a user. And this is one of the hardest parts about crypto, especially if you don't have a necessary utility or you're just trying to get in users to push the price up. This makes your protocol dependent on users. And in the world, we actually see industries veering away from being dependent on users or human workers. Everyone is going to being reliant on machines or AI. This is the direction that the world is going to. So why wouldn't crypto go in this direction as well? So what we figured out here on PulseChain is a way that we could set up a ton of different liquidity pools that are rather large, connected to our singular token. And as the market moves up and down, just like the market does, this is the only guarantee in crypto in markets is they move up and down. No guarantee up, no guarantee down, but what we can guarantee, it's going to be up or down. So what happens? The volatility, yeah. So what we did is we set up a situation where our machine is actually driven by the mechanic that we set in place already. Instead of having to need to get in new users to push the price up, it's actually just dependent on what's already in place. And how this works is we have liquidity pairs with Wrap Bitcoin, with PDAI, with PulseChain, PulseX, Inc., Hex, eHex, Atropa, Teddy Bear, pretty much all the blue chips on PulseChain. And as the market moves up and down, it creates price differences in the UFO and pTGC price. And then market makers will come in and fix those prices and make a profit on it. This happens throughout every blockchain. This happens through centralized exchanges. This happens through everything. This is literally how centralized exchanges make a ton of revenue, is there's a price difference in their Bitcoin compared to another exchange or a decentralized exchange, and either a market maker, human or bot, will come and fix that price. But when they fix the price, they have to pay the exchange. So this business model has actually been known to work, and we all know the exchanges are pretty much taking over banks at this point. So we took the business model that they're using it, flipped it to support the token and the holders of the token. So as the market moves up and down, the arbitrage or the market makers have to fix these prices, and a portion of that fix goes back into the system in paying out the holders of the system and buying up the token and burning the token forever, making it so it's outside value actually coming in. So for an example, let's
You have
say
to add in there, Zen, that it is a fiat transaction, because that's what makes this whole thing make sense.
Yeah, so when the market makers fix the price, these tokens, UFO and pTGC, are fee on transactions tokens, so they have to pay the fee of the token. Just like, for an example, if you use your credit card at a store and you have to pay the fee on transaction of the credit card, or when you're using a centralized exchange and you have to pay their fee on transaction using the centralized exchange. Similar to when you're using a decentralized exchange, the decentralized exchange has a fee. So in the real world, a business doesn't really operate without a fee, because then the business can't operate. Not saying that this is a business, but I'm just saying that the fee actually goes to supporting the underlying value of the system, and it's not required on the users coming into the system. It's actually just operating with what's already in place. So for an example, if PDAI goes on a run and this, let's say PLS doesn't, well, now the UFO in the PDAI pair is overpriced compared to the PDAI in the PLS pair. So now an arbitrage bot will come in and buy the cheap UFO and sell it into the more expensive UFO pair until they become an equilibrium, until they equal out. But let's say this costs the arbitrage bot $20,000 to do. The arbitrage bot has to move $20,000. Well, they have to pay the 5% in and then the 5% out. So then that's 10%. So on the $20,000, our ecosystem gained $2,000 back into the ecosystem. That's the value it generated. And now that $2,000 gets this dispersed between reflection to holders, rewards to holders, buy and burns, LP ads, etc. This is value actually backing the system. This is the thing that no one has really solved in all of crypto, is creating a system that actually generates value based on no human interaction needed. We could thrive in a situation to where not one person ever bought this ecosystem again, and we can still move up and to the right.
Bro, that I have to say that's brilliant. I actually kind of already knew the answer, but I wanted to like hear a nice, concise explanation of that, and I think you fucking did a great job. I really appreciate that. I just think like for people who have been in crypto, as long as I have, and have there were some things back in the day that were essentially scams that said they had trading bots. But, in this case, you actually are leveraging the real trading bots. That's brilliant right there. And then, the liquidity, joining with all these different things like PulseChain, which, we all know, or we all think can do very well. That's going to just amplify the whole thing as well. So I'll hop back down, guys. I just wanted to hear that. I want to say thanks and congratulations to the success so far. And from what you just explained, it sounds like this is only the beginning. So I'll see you guys later. Have a good day, guys.
Yeah, real quick, just if you don't mind, you obviously somewhat believe in PulseChain. Let's say you think 10x, right? That's a pretty modest guess. Maybe you think more. I don't know if you think more. But the cool thing about this ecosystem is as PulseChain rises and as we rise, we actually have more value working for the system. So today, for the example I gave, that's $20,000 the arbitrage bot has to move.
Right.
But if PulseChain just revalues by a 10x, our liquidity web will revalue by a 10x. So instead of having $20 million in liquidity, we'll have $200 million in liquidity. And that isn't just good for users. That's good for the whole ecosystem as a whole, because now we have $200 million working for the protocol, making it to where now the arbitrage bot needs to move $200,000 to fix the pair. And then our 10% fee on that would be $20,000 in just one shift of a market maker. Obviously, they might do it in smaller amounts, but they would still have to do that correction. So as PulseChain succeeds, as we succeed, our system actually grows stronger and stronger and stronger. And most systems actually grow weaker because they become too top heavy. And then that's what sends them crashing down, right? But our system actually grows stronger as it keeps getting bigger and bigger. It's like a snowball effect. We have more value working for it. A standard token, when a user comes in, it's like putting money under the mattress. None of that money is actually working for anything. It's just sitting in that liquidity pool, waiting for another user to come take it out. With our system, with this web technology, every user we bring in, every LP ad that we do, every time we increase the size of liquidity web, it's actual value working for us. And that's what's so unique about this protocol is in the outside world, if you became a millionaire, you don't just stuff that money under your mattress, right? You find a way to have that value work for you. So now you can trade that money to make you more money instead of trading your time to make money. This is like the ultimate American dream. This is being financially free. And we just kind of put it in code. And it's actually pretty simple to think about. You're like, okay, what's worked in the real world? We need to just put this in code and bring it to crypto. Because we know what brings value. We know what everyone needs. It's just no one's trying to solve it.
That is amazing.
So Scott, here's the thing. Algorithmically, you can affect the supply, right? You can affect certain things in terms of the inflation of a token, but you can't up to this point, no one cracked the code on actually affecting demand, because demand's analog. It's always been human emotion, humans buying, humans selling up to this point. There's never been a time where you could actually affect demand in the code.
Yeah, that's very unique, because I hear what you're saying. Like, you could affect like the concept of a buy and burn. You know, you can affect the supply and bring it down to make the coin more scarce. You know, so that if demand stays the same, then it would be more value. But it's that big if that's always been kind of, it hasn't been solved. And I hear what you're saying. It's like, you know, because the funny thing is, guys, like, I know that, you know, being in crypto, like, there's not that many people in crypto. The last stat I heard was like, oh, there's only 4% of people in crypto, right? Maybe it's going up now, you know, because we're in the bull run now for this year. But like, you know, I always thought, like, even when there's a great project, there's like only so many people like in crypto that can like put money in, and it would always kind of like run out. You know, those people, even if they all came in, you know, it's like, well, then that's it. Like, you know, there's no more demand. And this is changing that. I mean, if you can algorithmically or, you know, or through code essentially create the demand. I mean, is that what you're saying, Mando? Like, I'm hearing that you're literally like creating the demand.
Yes. So let me rephrase it just a little bit of a different way, right? Okay. So currently, I don't know what it is, but I think we're teetering on like the system is teetering on almost $30 million. It's headed really quickly to a $30 million cumulative value for the liquidity pools.
Okay.
So we call that a liquidity web. It's basically just a big pot of value, right?
Right.
And you have to break that down into subcategories of liquidity pairs. pTGC paired with this, pTGC paired with that, right? So there's all these different pairs. And as the prices of those pairs, they go up and they go down, there's an equilibrium of those things, right?
Right.
They have to be, the prices have to be rebalanced constantly, because each pair has a different price. And if one price goes over value, bots have to come in because they can make money to rebalance those pairs, right?
Right.
They don't care about emotions. They don't care about, is the TA up or down? They care about, I can make $1,000 right now by buying it in this pool and selling it in this pool.
Right.
That's what's happening.
Wow.
And so there is and here's the kicker. On PulseChain was the opportunity at the bottom. Because this is like an Ethereum 2.0 at the bottom.
Right.
So think about having $20, $30 million of LP already locked in at the bottom. And this thing 10x's, 30x's, 50x's, and the arbitrage market makers now have to move money to make money, but they have to pay a toll fee to do it. Just like a centralized exchange, just like a DEX. So owning these tokens is like owning a small percentage of the revenue generated by a DEX or a centralized exchange.
Right.
And the larger the LPs get, and none of that is dependent or contingent on a human buying it.
That's so sweet. I mean, I can't even. I'm way more excited than my voice sounds. It's only because I had a late nap last night and I'm just waking up. But like, I'm really like, I do think PulseChain can do a 10,000x. I'm one of the moon boys, you know, and well, whatever. I have my reasons to believe PulseChain will do many X's. But from what you're saying, then like, yeah, this is holding or staking, I guess, these tokens is like, you know, how they say the house always wins. It's like you're part of the house, you know, you're part of the DEX, you know. I've been on centralized exchanges, you know, back in the day, and, you know, they've taken my money. I've lost a lot of money in crypto, but, you know, finding Richard Hart and, you know, and PulseChain, I understand now more of kind of how the whole thing works. And
building this on PulseChain is phenomenal. If you try to do this on ETH, it's already done a 14,000x. You try to do it on Sol, it's already done thousands of x. Polygon, PulseChain was the opportunity.
Oh, definitely. And the cheap fees, well, it doesn't even matter that the fees, because the fees will go up as PulseChain gets, more adoption. But because it's not a human being buying, I'm assuming like a bot will like do a transaction. It'll pay, whatever fee. It'll pay $10,000 just to make like 1 penny, as long as there's a profit.
They're doing it on Ethereum right now, man. They're doing it on ETH right now.
Wow. Freaking awesome, guys. Look, congratulations. I agree, man. I'm sure you'll see more people like doing coins like this, just because like it's kind of like when Richard Hart invented the buy and burn. It was such an amazing innovation in crypto that it was like, okay, well, now everyone's going to have to do some kind of buy and burn to even keep up. And we've seen that now. It's in the Titan X ecosystem. Sorry for mentioning other coins, but I'm just saying, like in general, other cryptos have done buy and burns just like to keep up. And now I think other cryptos will have to do, either, I guess, some combination of liquidity webbing and or leveraging the bots, right? So it's just amazing. I'm glad to be in crypto.
They don't have to, but at the end of the day, this has been the biggest crux, because there's a whole new learning curve of people thinking they're looking at just a regular token when they look at an alien and a UFO. They have no idea.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's like you could look at UFO and just be like, oh, it's a meme coin. Look how much it's going up. It's got to be a meme coin, right? But like, there's so much more underneath when you open up underneath the hood, man, there's a lot more going on.
Well, Scott, thanks for coming up and sharing, man. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, dude. Thanks for having me, guys. Y'all have a good day, and thanks a lot. And I'll be. I look forward to the success of all of these tokens. All right, peace, guys.
Take care.
Yeah. Since we're on the topic, I kind of wanted to talk real quick about the basics of supply and demand and how that relates to this ecosystem. Real quick. So obviously we have control of the supply, and it's decreasing with every single transaction. And when you decrease the supply of something, naturally the price will start to increase. And to an extent, sometimes that increases demand. But once the price increases too high, usually demand slows down. For an example, let's use strawberries for an example in the store. If there wasn't a good harvest on strawberries, there's going to be lack of supply. So then the farmer is going to charge more per strawberry due to the lack of supply. Well, at a certain point, that farmer is making more for each strawberry, but a user who consumes those strawberries might now move to blueberries because they're like, ooh, there wasn't a good harvest on strawberries. The price is too high. I'm going to go get blueberries. This is what standardly happens. And then naturally the price has to come down a little bit because there's lack of people buying basic supply and demand principles. The arbitrage bots are not a human making decisions off of price being too high. They don't care. And that's the trick of where we actually solved the solution of the demand, is we created an endless amount of demand because the arbitrage bots aren't coming to actually eat the strawberries. They're flipping them. They're selling them at another location. So it constantly makes it to where the demand will always be here no matter what happens, because we know the market will move up and down. It doesn't matter how high the price of the pTGC or UFO go. It actually matters because the higher the price of the pTGC and UFO goes, the more value we actually get to bring into the ecosystem, because the arbitrage bot that's flipping these strawberries, UFO and pTGC in quotes, has to pay more for them, which brings in more value for this ecosystem. So that was just like a quick lesson on how supply and demand works and how we kind of flip the script to make it to where the demand remains, even though prices keep going up.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is then, barely anybody knows about this.
Oh yeah, when people find out about it, PulseChain will be up 10x from here, and our liquidity web will be at $200 million.
Not a forward-looking statement, by the way.
Yeah, obviously I have no control over price of any ways, but if PulseChain does do a 10x, mathematically these LPs will revalue if no one buys and sells it at that price. But obviously people could sell this thing to zero if they see fit.
Do you want to play what Goo God dropped in the Orbitron?
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for the pause, Goo God. Just thought getting Scott up there would be. Let's get the humans up there first, man.
Yeah, there you go.
Absolutely, bro. I mean, this is a classic right here. We've all seen this, but I just want to remind people.
Okay.
My boy was mining Bitcoin with Satoshi in the same room. Let's go.
All right, let's see if we can do this. All right, I'm not getting the audio. All right, okay, it's going to play again. I'm going to play the audio.
I also have 100% uptime. I also have flawless function. I also have 300,000 BTC, minted it for free in the contract. Do you have 300,000?
Can't hear anything, man.
I also have 100% uptime.
Okay.
I also have flawless function. I also have.
Give us a summary of what he's saying, if you hear it at all, Banana.
300,000 BTC.
He says he has.
Minted it for free in the contract.
He says he has 300,000 BTC. That's our age. Minted it in the contract. Goo, can you summarize that too? What did you get out of that?
He's got 300,000 Bitcoin. Play games with him if you want. The only other people I know who got that much kind of Bitcoin is Michael Saylor. He's got like maybe 30 or 50,000 more Bitcoin than that. And BlackRock. That's it. People don't understand the wealth that Richard Hart has, and he's tokenizing his wealth. That's why he did all the shaking out of the weak hands and everything else. And now everything is starting to come to fruition. Let's go.
And keep in mind, like when that was recorded, right? That was after the AA, where I think, potentially over 1 million ETH was taken in. That was before the sacrifice sets for PulseChain.
Yeah,
So
I think people have put together some of the wallets that he might have keys for, or someone else does, but he holds 12% of all of DAI stablecoin as well.
Right.
yeah, and that right now, that's about $30 billion worth of Bitcoin right now.
That's right. Exactly.
And he's one of the top holders of Ethereum as well.
Mm-hmm. That's 30 billion with a B, by the way, worth of Bitcoin. Yeah, he could pump his own chain.
If he has that much wealth, he could pump his own chain 100 times over, bro. It's crazy.
Yeah. I got a boogie in about 10 minutes, just so you know.
Yeah, I just let up Nick Hellman, so let's let Nick Hellman add to the conversation, then we'll shut it down.
Absolutely. Cool.
What's going on, guys?
What's up, Nick? How you doing?
Pretty good. Just saw this pop up, so I figured I'd hop in, see what's up. I usually lurk in the shadows when you guys are talking, because you guys talk for quite a while. But everybody loves green candles, and right now the biggest and the best and the greatest green candles are all happening on PulseChain with pTGC and UFO and the other ecosystem and amplifier tokens. So it's a good spot to be. I'm trying to get my private group to keep onboarding into PulseChain. New people just started with the Doge pump. A lot of normies getting back to break even, making money, doubling up on Doge. And I'm telling them, sell that, get into PulseChain. One guy took it all to Hex, and he already made another, 25%. So just keep onboarding to PulseChain, keep up the good work. And for me, nearly my whole PulseChain portfolio is just pTGC, UFO, Alien, Enki, and the other amplifiers. They do all the work for you. They give you exposure to the blue chips, and that's how you keep winning.
As soon as we started talking about Bitcoin, the viewers on YouTube just about doubled. We should talk about Bitcoin on every space.
That's a streamer hack right there, bro. That's a streamer hack. Whenever you want to get more viewers and you're live, just start mentioning Bitcoin and that's it. The bots start coming in.
It's real, man. It literally happened.
I like what you guys just talked about there and reiterating the wealth of Richard Hart and the speculation of what can be done on this chain with Richard Hart, the OA wallet, and all those wallets. And that really ties to the success of Bitcoin, the rally in Ethereum. Once Ethereum gets above that entry, people are going to speculate on what that wallet's going to do with all that ETH. Super easy to bridge it over into PulseChain to start pegging some stuff. So I think just reiterating who Richard Hart is, this SEC case will be closed in 45 days or less. Gary Gensler is out. So Richard Hart's going to win that case, and things could get really exciting very quickly on PulseChain, especially if Ethereum can play catch up to Bitcoin here. So just letting people and reiterating people, because a lot of these people aren't OGs to Hex, guys. I know you guys have been in Hex and PulseChain and know who Richard Hart is. A lot of these people have no idea who Richard Hart is. Remember, he hasn't done live shows in years now. So reiterating
100%.
that, reminding that, that's the speculation that is staring people in the face, and that's how you're going to make it this cycle, by being early to PulseChain and pTGC and all the other amplifiers.
Yeah, Nick, another huge point on that is like a lot of these other blockchains have so much more inflation than PulseChain itself. And a lot of these other blockchains actually run off of inflating their price and selling their own tokens down to pay the organization that runs the blockchain and pay the creators of it, to where we're built on a system that has not that much inflation. It's, I believe, even less than Ethereum itself. And we have a founder who doesn't even need any of the funds to pay bills. And I think that alone, even if you take out the fact of him bringing any funds in to help pump it, just the fact that he doesn't need any funds from it goes a long way that no one even has comprehended yet.
Yeah, that's a very good point. A lot of the PulseChain PL blue chips are in full circulation, minus INC, of course. And then the pTGC and amplifiers are deflationary. So that's very rare for a lot of these layer ones and layer twos. I know when ETH proof of stake, they're minor deflationary in times of high fees, but that's a negative for the user as well. If you're deflationary only when fees are really expensive, that's not really good for the end user. That's good for ETH token price, but that's not good for the user base. And that's when retail is looking for cheaper options, and that's what PulseChain can serve to be.
100%.
So the 90 day, on the 3 month, Pulse is now up 94%. PulseX is up almost 150%. Inc is up 60%. Hex is up 385%. And we don't even want to talk about what pTGC and UFO are up.
That's what I was about to say. And what does that mean for pTGC and some of those ecosystem tokens? I think that's the biggest thing I tell people. They think they're late to the PulseChain blue chips, or they think they have overinflated evaluations. I said, all right, well, if you want to sleep easy at night, get the pTGC, get exposure to blue chips with the passive income and the upside potential. If that's the narrative you want to go with, that's what I've chosen to go with, and that's what's overperforming. So.
Thanks for chiming in, Nick. Appreciate you, man.
All right. I think that's probably a great point to shut it down for today. Banana has to leave. I'm going to get on with my day. If you, Gugod, Mando, Banana, anyone listening want to get any last words in, feel free to. If not,
well, this was a great space, bro. You know, I'm glad to be here with y'all always. And I think we could take credit for this PulseChain cook right now, because we was in here bullish as fuck. So let's go, bro.
OGs, man. Believers from day one.
Okay, cool. Yeah, before we go, I just wanted to say thank you, Mando, Gugod, Banana, Nick, everyone else that came up. I think Scott, thanks for coming up and chatting in the space. That's why we hold these spaces, is so people can come up and get educated, add to the conversation. It means the world to me that, you know, you guys are adding to the conversation. educating here with me. Everyone else who didn't come up, who's just listening, thank you so much for just joining the space and listening, adding support, and just being part of this community. I've spent the last 4 years of my life dedicated to learning this industry, learning this space, and educating not only myself, but now educating other people as well. So I just appreciate you guys being here and supporting this journey. So thank you.
Thanks, Zen.
We appreciate you too, Zen.
Now get outside and go touch some grass, peeps.
Yeah.
I'm going to play some pickleball.
There you go. We'll
Take
see
care.
y'all on Monday.
Peace.
Have a good weekend. Guys on YouTube, 250 viewers. Great, great. Make sure you subscribe to my channel. And we will do a space again on Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. Have a great weekend. Prairie Banana out.